Yeah.
Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. In this week's news, Scouts soliciting sponsors for wreaths, Fire Corps needs volunteers, and vets share wisdom with students.
Stay tuned. Learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. Edison Township is looking for a few good men and women to fill the ranks of its new fire corps. The all-volunteer organization is designed to provide assistance and support to the fire department by performing necessary non-hazardous jobs. For example, at the scene of structure fires, they could provide water, coffee, food, and towels to first responders. Fire corps members could also assist with planning and conducting annual events, including the Leonard Strawberry Festival in July and the department's annual open house in October.
Last week's election brought new faces to the school board. In a five-way race for 4 seats, the winners were incumbent Corey Bailey and newcomers Eric Foster, Chad Griffith, and Mary Hanser. In addition, Oxford voters failed a 15-year $1 million request to fund the Township Parks and Recs Department operations. It was rejected by only 344 votes. The failed proposal represented a renewal of the current $0.823 million with a $0.17 million increase, or about $17 a year, would have been used to staff, operate, and maintain the senior center currently under construction at Seymour Lake Park. In an uncontested race for 3 seats on the Oxford Village Council, the winners were newcomer Kate Logan, Joe Frost, and Maureen Helmuth. Joe Frost accepted a subsequent nomination as Village Council President, and Dave Bailey accepted a nomination for President Pro Tem.
After 5 contentious years, Energex Petroleum Incorporated and its production well are heading out of Addison Township. The EPA contacted Township Supervisor Bruce Pearson last week to inform him that Energex had withdrawn its proposal. However, they did not say why they were withdrawing from the project. The oil well was originally proposed in October 2013 and scheduled to operate the well for 10 years, during which time the company estimated it would generate 90,000 barrels of oil and 50,000 barrels of natural gas. Opponents feared if the well malfunctioned due to the age of the pipes, it would have put Addison residents' lives in risk. According to Pearson, the biggest concern was Energex wanted to pump H25 hydrogen sulfate gas into the well to push out the oil. Pearson said the gas is highly poisonous and could kill instantly, which is what residents were concerned about. Addison Township Board will further discuss the matter at their November 19th meeting.
Evergreen wreaths take on different meanings depending on where they are displayed. Again, this year a group of Oxford Scouts is soliciting sponsorships to fund the placement of the wreaths on the graves of veterans buried in Ridgelawn Memorial Cemetery. Between now and early December, Boy Scout Troop 366 is asking the public to sponsor wreaths for the annual Wreaths Across America ceremony to be held at Ridgelawn Memorial Cemetery Saturday, December 15th at noon.
And during the high school's annual Veterans Day celebration, former servicemen in attendance shared some words of wisdom with students. Oxford resident James Shivers, who served in the U.S. Marine Corps, talked about fear and how it's a natural feeling. He told students that everyone gets scared, even soldiers, in the heat of battle.
3 locations in Oxford are collecting new and cleaned used clothes for Oakland County Sheriff's annual Coats for the Cold drive. Between now and November 30th, you can donate coats at the Genesis Credit Union, Coldwell Banker Professionals, and the Oakland County Sheriff's Oxford Substation.
Puppies basically sell themselves at rescues. They're little, they're cute, and they're playful. As a result, people practically line up to adopt them, but the older dogs, bigger, and bigger dogs can struggle to find homes. But now Canine Stray Rescue League is lending them a helpful hand and its new sponsorship program. Canine Stray Rescue has found sponsors who are willing to pay part of the adoption fees. So Canine Rescue will discount adoption fees for older dogs and not being quickly adopted. So far, the program is working quite well.
That's so nice of Canine Stray Rescue. I cannot believe how much they do for those dogs. It's amazing how many dogs they adopt every year. I have 2 of my own.
But they are so cute, and you almost want to adopt every one of them when you see them, right?
I really want to encourage people, though, if they've never had a puppy before, maybe go for those older dogs. They're grateful animals once they've been adopted. They're a lot easier to deal with than a puppy.
Get this. They're housebroken.
They're housebroken.
That's a good thing. Very solid.
Right. So you had something you wanted to talk about.
I want to mention a new ordinance that's going into effect in Oxford Township, and that's a solicitation ordinance, and it's going to go into effect on December 21st. And people that don't want solicitors at their door, you can also get a plaque by going to the clerk's office and asking for one. I'm not sure what the cost is on that. I don't have the information on that. I'm sure it's very minimal, if anything.
Right.
So be aware that's going to happen. Keep those people that want to come to your door who aren't, don't have a background check, that kind of thing. So you're going to make sure that it's a lot safer for the approach to your home.
Well, it's kind of a pain in the neck when people come to the door and they want to talk your ear off and you don't have time. The baby's crying and the pot of water's boiling over, and if you want to buy something, you're going to go to the store to buy it. If you want insurance, you're going to go to the store and buy it. If you want to choose your own Christian church, or not necessarily Christian, any denomination church to go to, you're going to go find it. You don't need people coming to your door, and you've got enough of that on the internet and on your TV screen. You don't need people knocking on your door, upsetting whatever routine you've got going on.
Actually, church people and that type of organization, and also kids from high school soliciting, that's a safe thing. I mean, they don't require to have the permit. And also people that are running for office. It's First Amendment.
So that little sign that you're going to get at the township is exempting those 3 groups
there are exemptions,
of people?
And what I would suggest is that you
that.
do go to the township and you look up the ordinance and find out exactly what it entails by checking the ordinance list.
I guess I'm curmudgeony. I get annoyed by having somebody knock on my back door and I don't recognize who they are. I am just not happy about having to answer it.
I know you're in there. I know you are.
Oh, they can see. They can hear the dogs. They can see me, and I don't care if it's a church group or whoever it is. Even students. I've had people those student things get really pushy with, well, you need to replace the siding on your house. I just don't like it.
That would be a contractor or that type of thing. They have to be permitted.
It's college students saying, oh, well, we are coming through the neighborhood and it looks like you need new siding on your house.
That doesn't apply to that organization.
Well,
that actually is a business organization, like the students that paint, that kind of thing.
Well, why else would students come around?
The students are promoted or brought into this organization or business. It's considered a business.
But you said the students would be allowed. Why would they come around?
Grade school kids, that kind of thing. Even high school kids are band boosters, that kind of thing. Also, I want to say that it also allows little children to sell Kool-Aid. And
I do like that. There was a big hoo-ha going on, but if they're selling it door-to-door, I'm not sure about that. I'm just not a door-to-door person, don't like that. But yeah, I saw some woman in San Francisco called the police on a little kid selling lemonade. That's ridiculous.
Really now.
Anyhow, that's it for Oxford News this week. Again, you got my opinion. If you'd like to learn more about these stories or others, you can catch us on our website, OCCTV.org, or on YouTube, and of course our regular cable channel Spectrum, Channel 191, or AT&T Channel 99.
And coming up soon on OCTV's very own Cody Wright with school sports and schooling around, incorporating great topics with Alexis Ware. And you won't want to miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Terry Stiles. Thanks for watching Oxford News this week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
On Friday, it's Fish Day at the American Legion in Oxford. It runs from noon to 8, and we will have over 300 of our best friends enjoying our fish and our carryout. Sure, we have checked it out, and we have found that we have the best cod and wally in Michigan. Want dessert? It's all homemade by our auxiliary ladies for just $1. For your vets, we have hats, just $5. On the bar side, here's some of our friends. Hi, everybody! On the museum side, some more friends. Hi again! Where you can check out one of the best military museums in the state. All Friday at the American Legion from noon to 8 at 130 East Drainer Road in Oxford.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, we are a step closer to a gene therapy for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS, a degenerative disorder in which nerve cells progressively stop working in the brain and spinal cord. 10% of people with ALS have an inherited version of the disease, and 20% of those have a mutation in a gene called SOD1 that causes their condition. Martin Marsala and Mariana Bravos Hernandez at the University of California in San Diego and their colleagues inserted an SOD1 silencing compound into a virus, then injected the virus into adult mice with an inherited ALS-like condition. Symptom onset was delayed by 80 days in these mice, and they never reached levels of muscle stiffness seen in untreated mice. Now, trials are planned for primates. The work was presented at the latest meeting of the Society for Neuroscience annual meeting in San Diego. Good work. And in space, so long, Kepler, and thanks for all the alien worlds. The most prolific planet spotter ever built has shut down for good, leaving astronomers to reflect on an era of unprecedented discovery. On October 30th, NASA confirmed that after almost a decade of service, the Kepler Space Telescope had finally run out of fuel. This means that it can no longer reorient itself to point at stars or beam data back to Earth. It will spend its retirement in eternal orbit around the sun, gradually moving further away from home, but Kepler's legacy isn't likely to fade. It confirmed beyond all doubt what we'd been hoping for, which is that planets are common in the galaxy, says Joshua Wynn, an astronomer at Princeton University. In the process, it transformed our understanding of the cosmos. Now we know that nearly every star in the sky hosts its own collection of alien worlds, and that many of those solar systems are nothing like our own. When Kepler launched on it 2009, we had spotted just 300 planets outside of our solar system. It has since identified 2,300 more and thousands await confirmation. Of all the exoplanets we have found, roughly 70% were spotted by Kepler, which searched a small patch of the sky for telltale dips in brightness of stars as alien worlds passed in front of them, known as transits. Now we know that pretty much every star in the sky hosts its own collection of alien worlds. The numbers are impressive. What really changed our perspective, however, is the incredible diversity of planetary systems among the Hall, with the surprises they contained. We also saw gas giants and small rocky worlds orbiting their stars closer than we thought possible, planets orbiting two suns like Tatooine from Star Wars, and planets that almost share the same orbit, which would be a recipe for disaster. Kepler really pushed back the curtain to reveal all sorts of weird and wonderful systems that might eventually help us to understand the process of planet formation, says Wynn. It also taught us a crucial lesson about where to look for worlds that could harbor life. Its mission was to search for Earth-like planets in the habitable zone where conditions are favorable for life around sun-like stars. It found a few, 30 at the last count, but it turns out that potentially habitable worlds are more common around cooler, smaller red dwarf stars. A hallmark of these colder stars is that their habitable zones are much closer in, which means planets residing within that sweet spot pass their star more often. That makes it easier to find and study them, and explains why some astronomers have now shifted their focus to red dwarfs. Kepler laid the groundwork for that and for all the new things on the horizon now, says Courtney Dressing at the University of California in Berkeley. NASA has already launched Kepler's successor, the Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, which will scan most of the sky, taking in at least 200,000 nearby stars. Then there are several ground-based observatories, including Speculoos in Chile's Atacama Atacama Desert, which has had its sights trained on 500 ultra-cool dwarfs since December of 2017. Its prototype discovered 7 rocky planets around a star called TRAPPIST-1, 3 of which sit in the habitable zone. The advantage of the planet Speculoos is finding is that atmospheric investigations will be possible, says team member Amaury Triad at the University of Birmingham in the UK. We can already see some weather on alien worlds, but not in much detail. Speculoos and other new observatories like the James Webb Space Telescope will let us learn more about the conditions on other planets and determine if any of them might be conducive to life. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Welcome back to School News. I'm Alexis Ware. Last week I told you we were looking for a new student host, and this week we brought it to you. I'm here with Cora, 3-year-old at OELC. Cora, how do you like coming to school every day? Good. What do you do? What's your favorite thing? Play with the camera. Okay, so you learned how to play with the camera today. What's one thing that you learned about that?
And to keep it steady.
Yeah, good job. That's a really good one. You have to keep it steady, or else when you look at it, it's going to be everywhere. You're going to be like this. That's really good. And then what button did you push? Was it a blue or a red button?
Red.
Red. And red means record, because if it was a blue button, I'm not really sure what that would do. And then what did you learn in class today? You don't know. So right before the camera came in and you learned all that cool stuff, what were you guys doing? Were you playing? Playing? What were you playing with? Cool. And what do you usually do with those? What do you build? Houses and buildings. And then you knock them all down when it's time to clean up, right? Yeah, so that's pretty cool, guys. And obviously she learned a little bit about the camera, and you're going to see that in our new member, Danielle Smith's segment. We toured some of the classrooms, and that was really fun because Corey got to do a few things, and I am so sorry, guys. I'm butchering her name right now, but tell me your name one more time. Huh? Cora. Okay. I'm sorry, Cora. Do you forgive me? And that's one thing that we learn here at OELC, right? Is how to forgive and how to share, right? And what does it mean to you to be kind to others? To be nice, and how do you be nice? Yep, keep your hands to yourself, and what else? Your shoes and your feet. So keep your hands, shoes, and feet to yourself. That's a major reason, or a major element in being nice. So thank you, Corey. Thanks for talking to us and being a student host today, okay? And then also, before we close out today's segment, I also would like to do a quick recap on last week's events. So Oxford Middle School did have their Scholastic Book Fair, and I really do apologize, I don't have any of my things prepared for me. But next week you are going to be seeing a few school closings, a few half days, so make sure to look at your school listings and call your schools to make sure that the school that your children go to is not one of them, or if they are, find out the times that you can go and pick them up. And that about does it for this episode of School News. Catch you next time. Yeah, go ahead. What do you want to say?
Tell us about the zoo.
Animals escaped from the zoo.
And how do they escape from the zoo?
By getting out.
Yeah, that's really cool. Can you imagine having a zebra pop up in your backyard? You couldn't? I could. I think I will go and I will probably try to ride it, but it's probably not the best idea, right? No. All right, say bye to all of our viewers.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Catch you next time.
What's going on, Wildcat fans? Cody right back here once again for yet another sports report. Last week we said goodbye to our boys football team who were knocked out of the playoffs in the second round by Lapeer. We also went over our 4 qualifying girls swimmers who went on to receive higher status after their season was over. This week we will say goodbye to a few cross-country runners who went on to the MHSAA state finals, and we touch on the boys hockey team's first preseason game for this winter. Anyhow, let's not waste any more time and dive right in. All right, so we'll start on a high note. Like I said, 2 of our Oxford's boys cross-country runners went on to finish out their season, and for one of them, their high school running careers at the MHSAA D1 state finals. Senior John Baggins and junior Scott Matterson competed against 242 other runners. Both athletes ran in the 5,000 meter race and both ended up finishing in the middle of the pack, only a few minutes away from the leading finisher, who was from Ann Arbor. Masterson finished in 116th place with a time of 16 minutes 59.2 seconds. Baggins finishing in 155th place with a time of 17 minutes and 11.7 seconds. The team landed in the top 5 in nearly every race they competed in, so overall the season ended pretty well for the Wildcats. We want to wish John Baggins the best for his future athletic and academic career, and we look forward to seeing Scott Matterson compete next year as a senior. Now we can switch gears to the winter season that awaits us. The boys varsity hockey team, a combination of Oxford and Avondale, took on Alliance, a combination of 5 schools, including North Branch and Goodrich, in their preseason match at the Detroit Skate Club. Alliance had a very strong outfit, I have to hand it to them, and we are struggling with a small bench once again this year. On the bright side, we do have Aaron Angelo in net once again for his last year as a Wildcat, but Alliance was a tough team to start out with. And Oxford and Avondale fell hard by the end of the second period to the Mercy Rule 8-0. It's nothing to hang our heads about. The season hasn't even begun yet, technically. The boys are set to play again at DSC this weekend, and we will have more on that next week. We have a lot to look forward to as this winter season does sweep in. Basketball is only a few weeks away, both boys and girls, as well as bowling, wrestling, and boys swim and dive. However, as of this week's report, that's just about all we have to go over. For any more info on these events and more, go to oxfordathletics.org. Plenty of game breakdowns, statistics, schedules, all right there for you to take a look at. That is oxfordathletics.org. While you're at it, might as well check us out at OCCTV.org. All of our coverage of these sporting events and more can be found on our YouTube page, which you can access through our website. Once again, that is OCCTV.org. Anyhow, that's all for this week's report. I want to thank you all for watching and remind you all to tune in next time. But until then, I'm Cody Wright. Go Wildcats.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, the revamped 2020 Toyota Corolla sedan will hit the streets on a new platform and with a more powerful engine option and edgier design that gives a more athletic look. The 12th generation Corolla was created on the Toyota New Global Architecture, or TGNA, that the automaker says meshes new approaches to design, engineering, assembly, and materials to reduce weight and improve fuel economy, safety, and driving dynamics. Following the Prius and then the Camry, the Corolla is the latest nameplate Toyota has injected with mojo to give what has been a traditionally reliable and durable car lineup more pizzazz. The Corolla, consistently among the top-selling light vehicles in the U.S., faces persistent headwinds in a market that is shifting to light trucks. U.S. car deliveries are on track to fall for the 5th straight year in 2018. The latest Corolla sedans, Toyota says, draws from the same DNA as the new Corolla hatchback revealed this year. The two body styles also will share powertrains. TGNA gives the Corolla more agility, in addition to what Toyota says is the sedan's quietest and smoothest ride to date. Toyota says the new interior has an elevated feel of quality in every surface, switch, and control the driver sees and touches. The sedan comes standard with the Toyota Safety Sense 2.0 suite that includes a pre-collision system, dynamic radar cruise control on highways that will maintain preset distances between vehicles, and lane departure alert. The LLE and XLE trims feature the 1.8-liter engine found in the previous generation, yet with more horsepower and better fuel efficiency, Toyota says. The XSE and SE grades are powered by a new 2-liter dynamic force direct injection inline 4-cylinder engine that develops more power and while using less fuel. The design crew sought to a robust stance that inspired confidence, Toyota says, but the automaker didn't rework styling to the detriment of practicality. Designers tried to maintain ample space in the vehicle for real-world use. Designers went for a simple yet inviting interior that was warm and sensuous. The outcome is what Toyota calls sensuous minimalism. Passengers will control the cabin through an 8-inch touchscreen that gives access to audio controls, navigation, and vehicle settings. Toyota says that compared with the previous version, the instrument panel, cowl, hood, and beltline height are lower to increase visibility and create the interior's open field. In our next story, palladium surge to a record value has intensified among analysts that car makers will look to replace it with cheaper platinum, that is, for use in pollution control devices. The auto industry's answer? Not so fast. Palladium, mainly used to control smog among gasoline engines, is trading near its highest relative to platinum since 2001, that is, as consumers move away from diesel vehicles where platinum is more widely used. Tensions between U.S. and Russia, a top supplier, and forecasts for shortages are also lifting palladium. Platinum fell to an almost 10-year low in August. Still, while car makers can substitute palladium with platinum, retooling factories is expensive and the metal makes up a relatively small part of their costs. It's not a flick of the switch for us, said Rahul Mittal, global technical specialist diesel aftertreatment at General Motors, said on October 29th. Anytime you want to make a substitution like that, it's at least 18 months to a 2-year cycle if we're going to switch. We have to be careful that by the time that we do all that, price changes won't negate the benefits, he said. If palladium pressure continues, you will see those results. And on the recall front, Subaru of America is recalling nearly 229,000 vehicles for a gas engine problem that could lead to certain 2018 Legacy and Outback models stalling. Subaru also ordered dealers to suspend sales of those vehicles pending a fix on the problem. The Outback is one of Subaru's most popular nameplates. The automaker is advising dealers to inform owners to keep fuel tanks in the two vehicles at least quarter full or risk running out of gas unexpectedly. Due to a software error, the low fuel warning light may not display at the intended fuel level, and miles to empty display may indicate a positive number even if the tank is empty, increasing the risk of crash, NHTSA said on November 1st. Subaru will notify owners, and dealers will reprogram the combination meter software for affected vehicles. Subaru has not yet acquired the necessary reprogramming tools, NHTSA said in a notice to dealers. Dominic Infante, Director of Communications for Subaru of America, said November 9th the company plans to start contacting customers in December. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways.